What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Movement Mindset powered by Station Athletics. I'm Chris Hardenberg here with Dave Whitson. And today we're going to be talking about an interesting topic,
Mhm.
especially for people who are newer into fitness, about how long cardio workouts alone are really not helping you lose weight.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of interesting because most people just think more is better, constantly increase volume. But there's other factors to it as well. So I think what the reason why people get sucked into that, the easiest kind of fitness to enter is kind of the long, slow
Yeah.
hop on a treadmill, hop on a bike, and you do get results at first.
Hmm.
But then the issue is over time you adapt to it easily, and then it becomes kind of a maintenance program more than it does anything else,
Right.
right? So whether it's the 20-minute run, 30-minute bike, a lot of people at first just go for 15-minute walks wherever it is. If you're one of those people that love rowing, because there's not that many of those people,
Right.
um, I enjoy rowing, but yeah, I'd rather row than run, but that's minority of people, I think.
I think I'd probably fall into that camp too.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, long workouts, especially the lower intensity stuff, monostructural we call it, or single modality,
Mhm.
right? It's the easiest to kind of get started with, and you do see results at first, but they will go away quickly.
Yeah.
Now, that's not saying those type of workouts don't have their place, because zone two cardio, kind of long, slow stuff, does lend to have a link to longevity in life. But there's also better uses of time, and also the only way you can really progress with that stuff is by adding more time,
Yeah.
because most people are not increasing intensity by going faster. They're increasing their time under tension, or the metabolic stress by going longer.
Yeah.
And the longer we go, the more time under tension, the more repetitions or something. Eventually, that's where we can see breakdown as well. So
Yeah.
there is a trade off to it.
And that was something like when this is a while back, we interviewed Shannon and she said when she first got into fitness, not as like a fitness professional, but like I'm overweight and want to lose weight.
Yeah.
What does everyone do? All right, well, I guess I'll go for runs.
Yep.
And she said she started to get discouraged because she realized the only way I can track improvement is I either go faster every time
Yep.
or I go longer. And I'm a parent of two kids in activities. I can't go longer.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I can't physically go faster. And so, it is tough because, like you mentioned, that stuff has a place. I'm not saying anything's
Mhm.
wrong with that. What I'm saying is, most people, when they want to go lose weight, they do that, and that's the only thing they do. And then they
Yep.
get frustrated when they plateau. And it's like, dude, you haven't done anything to have any weight training. You haven't done any, I'm blanking on the word right now. You lift a little bit heavier.
Progressive overload.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's no progressive overload with it. And
Accommodating
yeah,
resistance.
I was
These are
like,
all the
this is
terms.
not
Yeah.
right, but I was blanking on it. There's no progressive overload, and so it's like you just plateau.
Yeah. And then it's how do I put this nicely? Believe it or not, one of the most injurious sports in the planet for fitness. Do you know what it
Yeah,
is?
it's running.
Running. Do you know what number 2 is?
No.
Swimming.
Really?
It's 90% of collegiate and professional swimmers are on daily pain medication. That was when they did
What?
the research on it.
Because of overuse injuries, probably.
Shoulder, and then when people are good at that, they have a tendency not to look at technique. Most people don't look at technique for long monostructural stuff. Like,
Right.
oh, I just run. There's a technique to it. Shoes matter, stride length
Sure.
matters, weight matters. Like, they ran that research where every 5 pounds you lose is 50 pounds less strain on your knees running.
Yeah.
That's a huge there's way more impact in these kind of low intensity exercises than people realize.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and that's something where, that's why we stress integrating weight training into the program, but why people default to that is, like you said, it's easy to do in the sense of, like, I don't need to pay a gym membership, I don't
yep.
need any equipment, I'm just gonna start moving, but I find that, and people in our gyms fall into this too, is the metrics for a good workout is sweating and breathing.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
it's like, if I'm not sweating a lot or breathing a lot for a long period of time, I gotta that wasn't a good workout.
Yep.
And so, maybe speak on that and kind of what that thought process is for a client and why that's incorrect.
So just because popular kind of advertising is pain is weakness leaving the body, right? All the Nike commercials is like dripping sweat, Gatorade, Powerade, all the stuff. It's replenish whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I understand why people think that's a good workout. And there are times where like, hey, you got a good workout. So you ended up being sweaty, you ended up being tired, you ended up being sore, wherever it happens to be. You were super out of breath. But it doesn't it's a quirk. How do I put this? It's kind of like jacuzzi and sauna.
Mhm.
All jacuzzis are saunas, or all jacuzzis are hot tubs. Not all hot tubs are jacuzzis.
Okay, okay.
So you can be sweaty and all that stuff, but it doesn't mean you had the best workout. I can get you a high heart rate by scaring you. I can.
Boo, JJ.
You're like, go watch a scary movie. Guess what? Your resting heart rate was literally zone 2 for a large
Yeah,
portion of
yeah.
the movie, right? It's okay. You can go hop in a sauna to get sweaty. Or the other thing I would joke about is soreness.
Yeah.
Maybe this is appropriate or not. I'd be like, well, I can punch you in every muscle in your body, make you sore. I'll feel less stress. You'll be sore. We're both happy. It's cool. That's an over exaggeration.
Right.
But a lot of times we correlate the easiest things to achieve instead of looking at real measurable results.
Right.
Right. So, oh man, I really sweated today. I really worked hard. Or it's 92 degrees out and humid like it is in August in New Jersey. And I literally just sat outside watching my nephew play golf and I sweat through my shirt because it feels like it's 105.
Right.
I didn't get a workout. Right. I'm just standing in the sun. So I think it's because those things are just not that they're easy to achieve, but they're visible and they make us feel good. And so, but they're not the measurable changes.
Yeah, and I think that's really the thing. It makes you feel good because um when people want to make a change, they're motivated, right? And so it's like I got to work hard. And so it's like you come away from it feeling like, "Oh, I did a lot." And to be fair, right? Like you probably did.
Yes.
But the problem is if you're operating, and we talked about this, I think on the Q&A episode, it's like if you're operating in the same modality, the same time domain, the
All the
same,
time. Yeah.
you plateau, you don't progress. And that's where it's like, having to do things that are gonna, build muscle and right.
Mhm.
And so that's why we emphasize things like body weight control movements, weight training movements,
Yep.
because, and again, this is about specifically people looking to lose weight. So we're
Yeah.
not talking about the athletes or the bodybuilders or whatever. You're just someone looking to lose weight. You have to weight train because muscle burns calories at rest.
Yep.
And so you have to build muscle to burn more calories sitting on the couch. And if you're just running and running and running, or rowing and rowing and rowing, right? Eventually you're going to hit that plateau because you're not doing the contrast that you need to build the muscle to burn those calories at rest. And so it's kind of like this mind shift of like, you actually don't have to come out of every single workout being like, I sweat through my shirt and I can't believe what just happened to me and I
Mhm.
moved the whole time. Similarly, we talked about this on the Q&A episode. There's also workouts that should elicit that response
Yes.
that people don't get that response because they don't go hard enough.
Yes.
So maybe touch on that a little bit.
So we all like to stay in our comfort zones.
Yeah.
Right. We were talking about some workouts this week and everything and how they were a little different, maybe outside people's comfort zones. But usually all the results we want are in the things that we don't like to do.
Right.
So like even yesterday, we sent out an email to the Roseland gym. Hey, let them know like the week's workouts are up there. And hey, quick tip, the workout you don't want to do is probably one that's going to make you fitter.
Right.
Right. Like for me, what's the workout that I probably want to do? Oh, heavy power cleans. Cool. Hey, we want to go kettlebell to bike. Cool. Oh, we have strict pull-ups and body weight and running and stuff like that. Ooh, it's not really my strong suit.
Yeah.
But that's going to elicit probably a bigger response to my body because my body has not adapted to that type of training.
Right.
Right. So that will probably add more muscle. That will probably increase my metabolism more. I'll probably get a bigger response from that workout than I would doing Monday's workout with the kettlebell swings and bike sprints because my whole life hockey is short sprint rest, short sprint
Right.
rest. So that's comfortable for me and it's almost enjoyable.
Yep.
To the point where people are like, there's something wrong with you. It's like, no, I'm biased towards that.
Yes.
Right.
That's
So,
like the workout the other day. It was in Courtney's program. Oh, again, you mentioned your hockey background. I had a wrestling background. It was bar muscle ups and double unders.
oh yeah.
And so like everyone was like, there were a bunch of people that were like capping out at like 15, 20 minutes. And I was done at 7.5, 8 minutes.
Yeah, I was about to say it should be.
And so I was like, everything was unbroken. And I was saying to Courtney, I was like, I have an advantage because I jumped so much rope
the
with
time.
sweats on to cut weight that I like double unders is like a recovery.
Yep.
And so whereas other people are like my forearms, my shoulders, it's like I can stay super relaxed.
Mhm.
And so I saw that workout and was like, yeah, I'm definitely showing up today. but
home run for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's where again, just to go back to what we were talking about, a lot of the research out there says specifically for people looking to lose weight, you want to operate a lot of your training at the poles
Mhm.
physically. So what I mean by that is, yes, long cardio has its purpose, right?
Yes.
You need
Mhm.
to improve your aerobic capacity. You need so your oxygen consumption gets more efficient. You can utilize your fat stores as a fuel
Yes.
source at long distances, but then you need to go all the way on the other end too, where you're lifting weights, you're sprinting, right?
Mhm.
Because that is what improves muscle mass. Whereas a lot of these programs out there, and again, this is getting away a little bit from the long cardio, they tend to operate in the middle,
Mhm.
like your sucky lactic threshold.
Yeah, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, we touch on that as
Yes, we
well.
do. Yeah.
But it should be touches, not the entire thing.
Yeah.
And so again, most people will go either that because it feels really hard or longer and totally negate the thing of like, I mean, we've done it in our SA Fit gyms where it's like 5 rounds not for time, short workout, go home, and people are like, light sweat, feel good,
Yeah.
and then you could come back and hammer it tomorrow.
Yep.
And that's what we talked about in another podcast is like undulating kind of the intensities to keep results. So now that we've talked about why that's important,
Mhm.
and hopefully we've touched on the fact that it is important and you should change your mentality,
Yep.
but people don't just change their mentality. So
No.
how do we have the conversation with a client who maybe comes to a coach and says like, ugh, I don't wanna show up for an 8-minute workout. Like, how do we overcome the thought process of that I have to go 15, 20 minutes or longer to feel like I gotta go work out?
I'll relate this kind to running because most time when people think of longer kind of single modality running or workouts, they think running.
Mm.
So to me, it was always funny because people want to look like sprinters, but they train like long distance
Yes.
runners.
Joe and I talked about this on the podcast so many times.
So I understand the So I literally have we just talked about this. I've literally measured how much people actually move in long workouts, and it's not as much as people think because you're resting so much.
Right.
So there is times for rest, especially like mixed modal training that we do in some of our gyms or in our gyms sometimes. Um, but the way I would kind of explain that to someone is that, hey, the longer workouts, especially like zone two single modality stuff, you will burn fat there. But to build a body that can stay functionally independent and burn fat while not going for runs, you need to do the other stuff.
Yes.
Like there's importance to those other sides. And the truth is, too, most of life's real stressful situations are short time domain. So if we get into the short time domain, you mentally handle stress better too. So there's more benefits than just metabolism, the neuroendocrine response, growth hormone release, all these other hormones get released on shorter, more intense stuff that help counteract some of the negatives of going long.
Right.
Because when you go long all the time, you're also just teaching your body to, specifically with running or even cruise, sometimes it's your body needs to get lighter because you have to support yourself. You're trying to use the least amount of muscle as you're doing stuff to stay efficient,
Mhm.
right? It does build cardiac response, like your body's ability to pump or your body's ability to absorb oxygen in your lungs. And we want to build the ability to also pump blood to get to the muscles and then muscle utilization. But there's all these negatives that come with oxidative stress, including hair thinning, skin getting worse, bones getting worse, that we need to counteract by loading the body and hitting different energy systems to counteract the hormonal response to going long.
Yeah.
So for overall health, we do want to be able to do both. And again, the reality is most life's real stressful circumstances where we need physical strength are not long. They're quick and short.
Mhm.
And like I hope no one ever has to go through that stuff, but when my basement flooded as a kid, it didn't matter if I could run 20 minutes. What matters is that I could move 50-pound sandbags quickly in about 15, 20-minute time span, going up and down stairs, loading bags and coming back down because we had 5 feet of water in our basement.
Right.
That was like a real life scenario. So if we're really working out for life and to kind of be better in our daily life, we need to not just go long
Yeah.
because most of life isn't who can sustain a moderate output physically for this much time,
Yeah.
right? But yeah,
Yeah, so what I would say, guys, is to kind of chunk down this episode is if you're someone who is looking to lose weight or has lost some weight and totally plateaued, we need to get through the physical thought process that the only way to lose the weight is to go for these long runs or longer
yeah,
workouts in our facilities. And so I want to encourage you guys to really emphasize, yes, I need to do that to get
mhm,
to where I want to go, but there needs to be at minimum a 50-50 split, if not 60-70-40 of the lifting.
yeah,
Um, towards the cardio, right? A
Yeah.
lot of it, honestly, if you're looking to lose weight, it should probably be about a 70-30 split of lifting and short burst stuff to long cardio. And so again, if you're someone who is defaulting to the long cardio and can't figure out why you can't lose the weight, I want to encourage you guys, lift weights. When you see the short workouts, don't stay home.
Yeah.
Sprint, right? Come out
Go
of
for
that
it.
workout really tired, pushing as hard as you can. Scale the workout to make sure you're getting that response. And I promise you guys, if you do those things and then fuel your body appropriately on top of
Mhm.
that, you'll get the results that you're looking for.
Yes.
So, as always, guys, hopefully you got some good information from that. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram. Give us a 5-star rating on the podcast platform you listen on. We'll see you at the gym.